Whoo-wee. That's wind has been kicking up this morning. Woo! Let me tell you. Good morning. Made sure my battery's charged so far. Be that Sequential Geek hanging out here in the Sequential hood, making sure everybody else is safe this morning. Finishing off my Stanley spread from yesterday morning. Right there, you're looking at Form 17. That is an Arnold Sawyer cover, I believe, of Stanley. Portrait of amalgamation of him and all his creations. Speaking of that, I wanted to follow up too from last time to indicate that Stanley co-plotted, I think, the origin of Thor in Journey into Mystery '83. He did that with Larry Lieber. And also Iron Man, where I know Jack Kirby did the art for that Iron Man origin, as well as Kirby did the cover for Journey into Mystery '83, first appearance of Thor. So that first appearance of Thor was in 1962, Iron Man 1963. So just wanted to get that straight for the record. And when I mentioned how Stanley's wife convinced him to just kind of go his own route when creating characters, creating stories to keep up with Justice League that DC was turning out. His wife's name's Joan. His name was Joan Bocock from England. She passed away, I think, 2 or 3 years before Stan did, unfortunately. Stan had passed away November 12th, 2018, born December 28th, 1922, Stanley Martin Lieber. Upper Manhattan is where he was raised under Cecilia and Jack Lieber. Like I said before, they hit it off really rough in the Depression. Pretty poor, but he did gain a lot of work ethic. And I was just pointing out how Stanley had some connections. His uncle, what was it? Uncle Robertson, I'll find that in a second, but he also had his cousin's husband that owned Timely Comics. His cousin's husband, Martin Goodman, and his uncle Robbie Solomon. And his uncle Robbie Solomon was, I don't know if I want to say he's kind of a shady guy, I don't know how he got the job. Sounds like family connections. He's one of those guys that help just get things done. Today, you might call him head of operations, quote unquote. But that's how Stan started over at Timely Comics, which was a branch of Timely Magazine. So the guys over at Timely Magazine didn't take the Timely Comics department seriously and all. So by the time Stan became editor-in-chief, after he got back from World War II, people weren't taking comics, in general, seriously. I've always admired how he stuck with it. He's being demeaned, and he has to lie to people about his profession, basically. And he turns those limes into lemonade, especially in the '70s. In the '70s, Stan Lee, his first acting appearance was in the Trial of the Hulk. Trial of the Incredible Hulk. He was a judge. He also had done some narrations for that Incredible Hulk television show, as well as for Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends. So he was always interested in entertainment. The deals with all these covers are, they're photographs mostly. All these covers that I've been showing you, like this comics reader. It's from April 1980. Showed that earlier. Comics reader was published from 1973 to 1984. The one comic that I don't have with Stan Lee on the cover is that Black Rider number 8 from 1950. Black Rider was originally called All Western Winners 1 through 7. That was the title, and then issue 8 it became Black Rider in 1950. They had Stanley on the cover with wearing all black, black hat, a black bandana around his face. Today, without the cowboy hat, I think pretty much, unless he was in Texas, he'd blend right in, right? But that comics, that boomed in price after he passed. So I think last time I checked on eBay, it was around $500 book. Yeah, as you can see, this is like a zine. Street Enterprises, filled with interviews, reviews. Dick, Duck, Dick. Jim Engel. Yeah, I'm at the mercy of the clouds right now. Might need to pause this video for a second to let the clouds come in. It's like a Muppet spoof on the back cover. Jose R. Albedo, I think, did the back cover, and it was cover designed by Jim Engel, and the art is Hilary Barta. The surrounding images. A monthly 64-page comics news digest. Yeah, like I said before, it was Jim Owsley that started this No Prize one-shot, otherwise known as James Christopher Owsley, as we all know him as Christopher Priest. Launched Milestone Media with a group of gentlemen back in '93. First black writer, editor in mainstream comics. His Black Panther run will be missed. So, if there was some problem with continuity, if somebody appeared in the background in Marvel Comics when in their main issue they were out in space, somebody's hair was the wrong color, people would write in and kind of give like a tongue-in-cheek, lighthearted reason why that happened. Kind of helping Stan make up an excuse for fun. He'd send people a no prize. That was part of the charm of his letters column. Not only the way he created the idea for it, just the way he followed through with it. Kept people involved. And you'd get basically like a, woo, it's windy. You'd basically get like an empty envelope in the mail. In my playlists, I got a, you'll see, I think it's under, shit, documentaries maybe, or collector hall, that's it, sequential collector halls. One of the recent ones I posted up there in that playlist, there's somebody that shows their no prize that they got in the mail. And then some editors, after Stan became publisher in 1973, other editors, I think Roy Thomas was the one that took Stan's place initially. Some people would, maybe they'd send a copy of this, or some of them wouldn't have a no prize at all, some of them would just send a letter, or someone would just mention them in a letters page or something, but Stan started it, and yeah, cover price $1. Holla, 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 holla. January 1983, I paid $12.19 for that. Great condition. Here's a $20 book that I got gouged on the shipping, $6. And, excuse me, the Tom Orzechowski did the lettering on that book. There's a great interview with Tom Orzechowski on Comic Book Historian's YouTube channel. And I think that cover, correct me if I'm wrong, is done by Rick Parker. He was the artist on Beavis and Butthead, that comic book that was in like '94 to '96. But yeah, this is Fumetti from April '84. I paid $26.50 for this, including shipping. Nice condition. And I think it's kind of iconic too of that early '80s era. It's the way it looks. You could find those in the dollar bin. They're usually banged up, if not stained. So this is also a great way to bring the face of the creators to the customer. There's Shooter, Byrne, Mantlo, Milgram, Cockrum, Smith, Simonson, Claremont, O'Neill, and the man. Now, is that Grunwald saying help? I'm not sure who that is right there. It's great when people can make fun of themselves like that, right? Stuff like that is classic one-shots. You know, Stan Lee, he thrived connecting with the readers. I just wanted to point out how Martin Goodman and his son Chip, they tried to start Atlas Comics after Stan became publisher in '73. They weren't having it, and they tried to go off on their own. And I mean, comics are doing a lot better then than they were now, and they weren't able to have Atlas Comics stay afloat. You know, got to give props to Mr. Lee when he earned it. I mean, he didn't do it all himself, but if it was Martin Goodman that gave Stan his shot, and then he tried to go off and do his own thing with his son Chip with Atlas, I mean, come on. I think through the decades, especially with the McCarthy hearings and then the Comics Code Authority, and then dealing with the rise of DC, competing with them, Stan stuck with it. It worked itself out. He obviously looked at comics more than Goodman did, because Goodman and Chip, his son, you know, there's quotes of them just saying, you know, find what the latest trend is and just mark it off of that. The bottom line. Whereas Stan is more about definitely franchising, licensing, integrating customer interaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy just, he knows how to connect with people that didn't just pay attention to the bottom line. He brought a lot of action, excitement to his books that were bookended with drama, were bookended with great stories, characterizations that a lot of people take advantage of today. While he still did things like the anti-drug story in 1971, for example, while still pushing things politically, social statements, and that he was still able to kind of cross the line as far as the Comics Code Authority went, and with some mass media went. He definitely had some great influences. You know, kind of like a binary relationship, like with him and Steranko. He learned a lot off of Steranko, but Steranko learned a lot off of him. You know, they did clash heads, but great minds think alike. I also wanted to note that it was Timely Comics in 1941 that did Mystic Comics. And they had a character called the Destroyer that fought Nazis and had the serum that he was injected with that enhanced his strength and so forth. But that actually, that was after Captain America, right? Because Captain America, I think, damn, what year was he? Early 41? I thought he was 1940. Um, unless it was, get my facts straight right before I come out here, but help me out, anybody out there, what was it? Marvel Comics had the Human Torch and Submariner. Was that what came out in 1940? And then it was Captain America in 41? Just wondering who came first. Was it the Destroyer from Mystic Comics in 1941, or was it Captain America? Joe Simon and Jack Kirby's Captain America punching Hitler out in the cover. So, this is what I got off my bucket list. Here's to hoping that glare has some mercy to it today. My Stanley autograph. CGC Signature Series. Marvel Age 41. August 86. Signed by Stan Lee on June 18th, 2017. All his creations around him. See that one right there in the corner? That Millie the model? That was actually one of the comics that, it's like the stick that broke the camel's back that brought things like the Fantastic Four, because that was a marketing gig that he had. Some like television that wanted to become a film star, or it was just an actress that decided to have a comic book about herself that a PR company hired him to do. It was one of those stories coming off of out of the McCarthy era, doing too much horror and romance. I think regulated stories where he just got sick of it. Here he was writing stories based on brand identity for some character actress. Yeah, that's when Joan Bucock, from his wife from England, she was the one that encouraged Stan, just do it. Write what you want to write about. The real, more down-to-earth relationships that include everyday innuendos occasionally here and there, with his stories about his heroes. Kind of like with Greek tragedies, you know, where those heroes, those gods, those demigods, they had flaws just like humans. I think that's what made those Greek tragedies, those plays, so appealing. $432.43 is what I paid for that. That'll include shipping. That's the total price. And you know, that's all. I'm always trying to think about some type of information to add and make sure I use the time most I can up in here. But right now, my main concern is hopefully I got some lighting. See if I can pause this. If I can get some sun in, you know. See how well that goes. It's a great day out. Hope you all stay healthy, stay safe. And drink some OJ in your morning. Get some vitamins in ya. Alright, peace. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Hope you all stay safe. Enjoy this greatness of that, which is Stanley Martin Lieber, aka Stan the Man Lee. enjoying the day. Getting some fresh air, enjoying some sunlight. It's fun to collect. It's fun to tell stories of people. There are deals to be had online, but just some great comics to read. And when you get a chance, when you're done reading that comic, if you can't find somebody that's interested in it, leave it at a tattoo parlor, leave it at a barber shop, leave it at the dentist office. Pass it on. These days, it's not like you can go leave it places, but people still selling stuff online, and just keep reading comics, keep passing them on. That's what I do. Regardless of the situation that we have, I still know people that I've lent comics to. They'll just leave them chilling on their shelf for a couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Stanley spread. Word to your mother. Peace.